Hello, welcome. This is the Ashtabula City Council's Public Works, Public Utility, Cable, and Schools Committee for Monday, August 24th, 2020. At this time, if everyone would please silence your mobile devices. Ms. Sinsky, is the recorder on?
Yes, it is.
Thank you. We will call the meeting to order. And can we have the roll call?
Yes, Mr. Crawford,
Here.
Ms. Harris,
Here.
Ms. Young,
Here.
Mr. Timonier,
Here.
and we have a special guest, Ms. Wendy Zeely. I apologize. You're fine.
At this time, we will actually ask our special guest, Wendy Zeely, who is the Manager of External Affairs of First Energy Corp., and she is going to talk to us about streetlights.
Again, Council, thank you very much for having me today. I am here to discuss the First Energy CEI electric LED lighting tariff. As provided in the handout, which you can go over, we are presenting a LED street lighting agreement for the city to consider, which would allow the illuminating company to replace existing street light fixtures upon failure. So currently the city has various fixtures within the community. You have some mercuries, you have high pressure sodiums currently. And what we are asking is that the Public Works Committee and the Council consider signing this LED lighting agreement, which is, I gave a copy for your review. The benefits, this is a new lighting tariff that was renewed January 1st of 2020. And it comes with, and again, this is on page 6 of your handout, where there are 3 different lighting type fixtures. There is the standard Cobra head fixture, streetlight Cobra head fixture, as well as 2 fiberglass option fixtures with different type tops, colonial post top as well as a acorn top. There are 3 options, and this is, I would like to draw your attention to page 7. I'm going to, if you have any questions after the presentation is over, feel free to feel free to ask, but I think a lot of the LED streetlight technology is self-explanatory. What I want to cover are the summary of options under the new tariff. Currently, again, the first option is to sign the existing agreement that I provided to you, and we would replace them upon failure at no cost back to the community. This would just be, you call it in like you have for years through the website, or sometimes the city manager would provide me with a list and we go through and we change them out. Keep in mind that these fixtures are changed out. It is not a light bulb change out, it is a complete fixture change out. Really, it's a new bracket, new fixture head. Unlike the transition when we went from mercuries to high pressure sodium, we could just change a bulb with the existing ballast. So I wanted to bring that to your attention. There is also the option to be where you would pay a fee of $242 per lamp up front to have a certain corridor. There's a LED lighting application that the city would fill out, and you could say from one point on Main Street to 19 lamps down to another street. We want all of those completed at one time. From an aesthetic standpoint, instead of maybe having an option until you wait until they burnt out, you would eliminate that white, yellow fixture look, and we could do that at $242 per lamp, straight change out on the existing poles. Then there is also a 60, you can pay over, you can have like a payment plan option, and that is the third option. But I know, and I'm not familiar with the city's lighting ordinance if you have funding available, but that doesn't seem to be something that a lot of cities do. They just have the funding through the ordinance already in place. So, and then some general information about LEDs. We asked the city to provide us the information on how they would like the change out. Again, today I'm here to encourage that you sign the agreement, and I'm here to answer any questions. But again, that's completely up to you in regards to how you want to move forward with the LED change out. Something that General Electric, we use General Electric fixtures as our supplier for these lamps, and they have also notified us that moving forward, the HPS, the high-pressure sodium fixtures, will no longer be manufactured. So the state, the Public Utilities Commission, currently just has these LED tariffs, but in Pennsylvania, they, the PUCO mandated that all communities eventually go over to LEDs. So, are there any questions? I kind of skimmed over that quite quickly.
I see the two fixtures, Mr. President.
Yes,
if I
Nika.
may. I see the two fixtures on page 6, the colonial style versus the acorn. Is it one more expensive than the other?
No. So those fixtures are all changed out. So again, keep in mind, this is completely, the 242 and the replace upon failure are for existing fixtures only. So if there is, most of the fiberglass fixtures you can find in an underground home residential development, and we would basically just be changing out that particular lamp to an LED. So those are existing. The other Cobra head are mostly the ones that you find on the wood poles on some of your primary overhead line streets, main corridors, things like that.
Just a quick reference for anyone that is watching. For the LEDs, we do have those on Collins correctly. So if any resident in the city wanted to see the lights, to see what they actually would look like, they could see a street that's already set up in the city, so they have an idea of what that looks like. To me, I think it's a cleaner light. One of the things when I was voted into this position, I did say to the residents of Ward 2 that I wanted to hopefully improve our lighting in our streets. So to me, this is something near and dear that I hope that the city could move forward to and do this. Just because of the lower footprint of emissions, it also helps save electricity and energy money. So hopefully this is something that we can go forward with. So it's,
And I've worked with the city manager in regards to providing him with pricing based on the existing fixtures that you have in place versus what the tariff savings. And again, each fixture savings is definitely different, but in general, I can give you an example that if you have a high-pressure sodium fixture and you're changing it to an LED, you can save anywhere from potentially $3.50 to $5. But again, it's based on the fixture wattage, and so you have to run your own billing analysis to find out what your total savings would be, and I know that I've provided that information to Jim, that he's done that.
Mr. President,
Yes, go ahead.
the sheet that I passed out to you all with the brief Excel file. So all of the figures that are on the left of that are the current fixtures that we have. As you can see on there, we have over 2,600 streetlights within the city at a cost of just over $300,000 a year for that. Now, one of a plus and a minus of what we have of inventory. Over 1,100 of those streetlights are actually the Mercury, which is the cheapest one right now. So we would actually be paying more for that LED conversion than the Mercury. However, it's still less than when our Mercuries go out, they're changed out with a high pressure sodium. So, you know, we still win in the end because they would be converted to a high pressure sodium rather than an LED. So. As you can see, running that brief cost analysis, we save about $2,600, or I'm sorry, $26,000 a year when the entire city is converted over. Now, as Wendy mentioned, there are probably certain corridors that we'll go after and say, hey, we'd like to have all these replaced just for aesthetics. At that time, we can also, it would not be on First Energy to do so, but we can look at our city engineer and say, hey, we want you to do a lighting assessment on this corridor. Do we really need 25 fixtures in this 1 mile stretch, or can we get away with 15 fixtures? And they can run those for us, and then we work with First Energy to say, okay, we want these poles replaced with these lights and at that cost, and we go from there. So there's a lot of different ways that we can work this. As you know, we do have a street lighting assessment fee on the books. It still does not cover the full amount, and I don't believe it'll cover even when the discount is put into place. But you know, as we said, there are certain corridors we'll want to do all at once. But that's the thing that council needs to keep in mind too, is if we end up signing this, and I'm still looking over it, I mean, at this point, I'm kind of leaning towards actually making the recommendation to you that we go ahead and have an ordinance to sign this. As these burn out and they're replaced with LEDs, you're going to have that difference on some of the streets. And you're just going to have to know the answer to that question is, this is how the replacement program is going to work. So you could have a couple of those yellowish mercury type bulbs and then a nice brand new LED, and then again, until they all get replaced. What do we estimate on a year's?
So statistically, and these are General Electric numbers, not CEI, but they state that a high-pressure sodium bulb will last anywhere from 3 to 5 years. So based on when it was initially installed or replaced, because I'm sure you've had lights that are that have been replaced, you're looking at a 3 to 5 year conversion plan on the upon failure agreement part, not obviously including your main corridors that you would consider doing the upfront application.
Anyone have any other questions?
Yes.
Okay.
Jim, what, you said the savings for the year would be in the 26,000 plus. How long would it take to do that citywide? So how
That was
quickly?
what we were just discussing. So it's usually, those bulbs are about 3 to 5 years. So if we said start today, it could be up to 5 years
Before you did the
before
whole city?
all of the whole city is done. Now, there again, we have some streetlights that are out now. After we sign the agreement, every one of them that's out, that's reported in, or we get fixed, would be changed out to an LED. So, the sooner we get on it, the better. So I will most likely have a recommendation at the next council meeting.
So the full savings we wouldn't see until the end of that 5 years?
Correct, yeah. Well, until every street light is replaced with those. Now, it could be even more than that. Like I said, if we do some engineering and do some, the light, what do they call that?
So the illumination
Yeah.
spread of an LED could be a little bit different. And again, I'm not a lighting expert, so I've provided some contact information so that you can consult with someone who is. But they would, if you have certain, on an average, our poles may be 100 feet apart, but there might be areas more in rural that may be farther apart that you wouldn't need as much illumination, or it could be a lower wattage. And so they're going to take into consideration, maybe there are some of your more compact corridors where we currently have a fixture on every lamp, on every pole, that actually maybe only one is needed instead of 2 for every other pole, something like that.
A
So
good example of that would be the intersection of Lake Avenue, Carpenter, and West. If you really look at that intersection, I think there is just about a fixture on every pole for quite a while in that area. So that's one area we would have assessed and say, hey, do we really need all this? And the more that we cut down, the more savings that there are, the more beneficial it is all around.
and just
But
another.
there is I'm sorry,
excuse me, I'm
but
sorry.
there is a cost to doing that. So every area that I say, hey, let's go evaluate this, we do have to pay our engineers to do that. It's called a report. We did it for the Harbor parking lot, and I can't think of the name of it. Light something report. But they will do that for us and show us. And we had it done for Collins Boulevard to determine how many needed to be replaced there as well. So.
And I'd just like to bring the committee, page 5 are the GE LED recommendations for the existing fixtures. So I don't have a copy in front of me of the city manager's pricing analysis, but if, say, you had, 550 watt high pressure sodiums, they're recommending a 90 watt LED. Thank you.
I did that conversion.
Correct. So these were based on GE. If you have other experts, they may recommend something different. So keep that in mind as well, because there could be some further savings found in that.
Anyone else?
Again,
Well,
thank you very much.
and
I
I'd say,
really appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you, Ms. Ely, for coming and explaining everything to us. I hope this is something the city can go forward with and
And
Okay.
again, once you've reviewed the report, I know I kind of briefly went over it pretty quick. If you've got any questions, feel free to filter them through the city manager, and I'll be more than happy to respond immediately. All right, thank you very
Thank
much.
you
Have a
very
nice
much.
day. And be safe.
Okay, next section, we will go to the city manager report. So, Mr. Timonier?
Thank you, Mr. President. I do have reports from both Craig Pierce from Water Pollution and John Melnick. The first one was kind of interesting. A partnership between the Ohio EPA and Ohio State University, the Ohio Health Department. They're doing a statewide wastewater influent monitoring study for gene fragments of COVID. What they're able to do with this, it's not a live virus, it's RNA from the live virus. And what they have found so far in these studies, they've been doing them in some of the bigger cities, is they can find the presence or the absence of the virus fragments within the wastewater. And it can actually show 4 to 7 days before our clinical indicators would show that. So in other words, where we would see a spike in cases if people are getting tested for COVID, we could actually, if we see that kind of thing in our wastewater samples, about 4 to 7 days later, you should see an increase in people diagnosed. So it's kind of a good indicator. And some of the things that we're working on is because we don't have strictly the city that comes to our wastewater treatment plant, trying to determine that entire area and the population of that entire area so that we can get that data into the system so that we can be better judges of what the spread is like. There's no cost to participate in it. It's a $2 million federal aid relief money that's come into the state. They're taking samples once a week, and it could be increased to 2 times a week. We will send those samples along, but then again, it is no cost to the city to participate in that. So we are going to help out with that study and see what those indicators are for us. Does anybody have any questions on that?
Yes, Mr.
Yeah.
Chairman. With the sampling, are they going to sample right at the waste treatment plant, or are they going to sample at certain areas of the city?
No,
or-
these samples will be taken at the wastewater treatment plant. Yes.
All right, thank you.
As far as things go within Public Works, as you know, we were not able to hire the part-timers for the parks this year, so it has put a little bit of a strain on different aspects of what we're doing in the parks. However, guys are still getting a lot of stuff done. Pothole patching still remains top on the list there. We've seen an abundance of litter out there this year, so our guys have been doing that. 6.5 tons of trash was taken one day off of Ohio Avenue Extension in the ditches. So just to tell you the magnitude of the things that we're going after. We still have the leaf bags and tree rubbish that comes to the front of the Public Works sector. That has been a little bit better as far as people dumping, but we still do have some people dumping trash and stuff that's not supposed to be dumped there. So again, I would remind people that's strictly for leaf bags. It's strictly for our residents. It is not for contractors. And if people are bringing branches, they need to be cut up into 3-foot sections and not a tree removal service dumping their items there. We are monitoring that, and hopefully we can catch some people doing what they shouldn't be doing. Right now, our crews are working on some road restorations that we've done with either sanitary storm, lateral issues that we had dug up, restoring the roads back. Trying not to contract a lot of stuff out just due to funding and trying to do it ourselves. So it's taken us a little bit longer to hit some of the spots on top of everything else that we're going on. We got the sewer vac out, the jet in there. We hit trouble spots every month, so our guys are still doing that. And of course, just your typical weed whacking, spraying for weeds, and lawn mowing that we have going on out there. So that's the reports from those two departments.
Mr. President, I have a question. What's going on West Avenue with all the orange?
Yeah, so the West Avenue is the Greenway Trail Metro Parks project. So that's the bike, that's the bike trail.
I was wondering.
Yeah, so last Friday, they came through and did most of the surface restoration, so they identified some areas that were really, really bad as far as where that trail is going to go, did some grinding and putting in new asphalt in those areas. A lot of the curb ramps were made ADA accessible along where this bike trail is going to go. I believe it's this week, possibly next week, you'll start seeing the paint go down for this. West Avenue is actually going to become a 2-lane road and then have the bike lane in it, so we should see a reduction in the speeds on West Avenue as well. But the trail actually goes from just north of 50, well, actually it's north of, is it Poplar that goes around back by the ODOT, by the old ODOT station, where the trail comes through right now. So the trail will then head straight up West Avenue. It'll go to Smith Field. You can see they have Smith Field kind of roped off right now. The trail goes in back of Smith Field and then around through the back of Guerrero Funeral Home, back by Andover Bank, and then it comes out on Michigan Avenue. It then takes Michigan Avenue straight across Carpenter Road, West 19th Street, where our EQ basin is. They'll be putting a trail through there to the other side of Michigan Avenue. That winds through some of the neighborhoods in the harbor. Think by Lakeway on West 8th Street. It pops across the street and then follows the river down to the harbor. They'll be putting what we call a bike trough on the stairs that go up to Point Park. You'll be able to walk your bike up to Point Park and then take Walnut Boulevard down to the beach. The terminus is down at the beach, and there will be a sidewalk along the back edge of along the southern edge of the parking lot for the terminus of the bike trail. And that then would complete our bike trail from the lake all the way down to the Ashtabula County line, which then continues down to actually the Ohio River. So we'll have lake to river when this section, and I think there's a couple other sections down towards in southern Ohio that still have to be done, but our portion up in Ashtabula County will be done.
Well, that'll be completed before fall?
Yeah, I would
Everything will be
say
done?
probably by the end of September, everything will be done. Most of what's left is just paint on the roads and signage. So, yeah, and it's definitely going to take some education with our local drivers. I am a biker, so a cyclist, not a biker. So I do frequent a lot of trails throughout Ohio, Northeast Ohio. When you're in areas that have had bike trails for a long time, the motorists know how to deal with it. They stop for bikers. They stop at crosswalks. Ours here tend not to. So it's going to take some education. The way that this is all laid out and the safety measures that are in place, the distance barriers that you'll see when the paint is out there are enough, but people are going to have to be aware of either what they call a share row, meaning that you share traffic with a bike or a pedestrian, or the designated bike lanes that you can't drive in those. But yeah, people are going to have to be aware. But there is a lot of traffic on the bike trails this year, I can tell you that.
Will
Yeah.
the speed limit change?
The speed limit will not change. It will still be 35.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, actually, I mean, council can vote to change the speed limit on there and just change the traffic map and file. I don't necessarily know if that would help or hurt. I think just having it 2-lane instead of 4 is going to be a big help.
Mr. City Manager,
Yes.
when you were talking about the terminus ending down at Walnut Beach, it made me think of the road that goes straight as you head out and go behind the break wall. Is there anything on the books to get that leveled out?
Yes, actually, we were going there today. Unfortunately, the 2 batteries in our Great All were dead, so we had to go buy 2 batteries today. But yes, they do have that ready to roll.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, it seems that this year we've used Walnut Beach. My family has used Walnut Beach more than I've had in my whole entire life. So we've been beach class hunting, and we go down there and you see cars that you think they're gonna completely rip the bottom off of them, and they're dodging around them.
Yeah.
So that would
Yeah,
be
it's
good.
been used quite a bit. I think we've graded it at least once already this year, so
Oh, really?
we do have to go back and grade it again. We do have some grindings left from the paving, or that were given to us from the paving, so we'll be back down there and level it out, grade it, and then roll it.
Okay,
Mhm.
all right, thank you.
We have always wanted to pave that. Unfortunately, and you'll see, I have an unfortunate feeling this winter is going to be a doozy. If you were to go down there in the wintertime, you'll see how the water comes over that break wall. And when we've had this looked at, we've seen some of the points that water goes to. If we were to pave that, with that then becoming ice, it would just blow that whole parking lot apart. So we try to keep we've paved, I think, as far back as we can on the road. We might be able to go a little bit further back, but the area in the far back, where most people park, it's just we just have to deal with it and grade it and fill it. Or it's just, I don't think it would last at all if we ended up paving that.
Thank you. Counselors, anything for the city manager on any of the departments?
Mr. President, I must have missed something with COVID and all that's going on. I had my granddaughter yesterday and I rode through Walnut Beach and it kind of seems like things are back to normal. I see more activity there than I do at a lot of, like Lakeshore Park, Pontiac.
Well, I will say that our beach is getting used a lot.
It is.
It is definitely getting used a lot. Now, the reports that we've had from the lifeguards are people are respecting each other, they're socially distancing. Unfortunately, we only have the restrooms open while the concession stand is open, because they're the ones that take care of cleaning it and sanitizing it. So we can't afford to keep sending people down there all night long for that. So the restrooms do close at a certain time. But, and this is one of the reasons that I brought to council at the last meeting, extending the lifeguards, because the beach is getting used a lot. We have not had the situations where it's been the mass parties, people way too close together or anything like that. It seems like people are respectful of each other and are trying to keep that distance. So I would say yes, there's a lot of people down there. It looks like it's crazy. It's a big beach compared to the other parks, and I think that's why people are coming to ours, because there is plenty of room to spread out. But like I said, knock on wood, so far, everybody's been respectful of people's 6 foot now personal space.
Anything else? All right, Mr. City Manager, I
Okay.
think that's it for the day. We are still gonna try to contact city schools to.
Mr.
supervise.
Crawford, I'm pleased to announce that Dr. Potts got back to me today, just moments before this meeting, and said that he could be at our next meeting on September 28th.
Okay, good.
Okay?
All right. Everyone else, if that's good? Everyone's good? All right. Thank you all for viewing online. Thanks everyone for coming out tonight. We will see everyone again September 28th, Ms. Sinsky?
Yes.
All right. Other than that, one other thing real quick. Mr. Timonier has already told us at the last council meeting that the road paving levy we've used all the money that we had for this year. So we are done. The road paving part for the city part is done. We will be looking into, for next year, we didn't want to spend money that wasn't in the city budget. We wanted to make sure the money was here. So it's not that we just stopped, it's that we had to take a point that we knew we were safe as a city. So we are looking at the roads. We didn't forget you. We have roads that we had to cut for this year. They are at the top of the list for next year. So I just want people to understand it's not that we gave up on them. We did what we could this year, but we have a 5-year for this levy, and we're going to keep improving the roads as we go through. So I just wanted everybody to know that. Okay? So everyone, thank you very much for coming out, and we'll adjourn this meeting. Thank you.